All right, here we are once again with the Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and this time looking at a really cool knife. This is the Hinoura Tamashii Shitogami or White number 2 Tsuchime or Hammered Bunka 180mm knife. So that's quite the mouthful. But this line of knives uses a hard core cutting steel of Shitogami or White paper number 2 reactive high carbon steel. Heat treats about 62 Rockwell in that core steel. And then on, excuse me, on either side of that hard core steel, you've got a softer stainless steel cladding. That stainless steel cladding has a lot going on. You can see it's got a dark finish on it. This is a Kudauchi or KU or blacksmith type finish. And it's also got a really well executed hammered or Tsuchime hammered pattern to it. They've got a kind of a gunmetal, finely sandblasted finish on the blade road, and you can see a pretty nice polish on the core steel coming out at the edge. So it's a really aesthetically striking knife. Beautiful handle, which we'll get to. The weights and dimensions on these are going to vary a little bit from knife to knife. This particular one is 195 grams or 6.9 ounces. The edge length is right about 180 on the money, or 7 inches approximately, just a touch over that. And the overall length is about 13 inches, right on the money as well. The spine thickness, it's fairly thick coming out of the handle, but right above the back of the heel, it's about 2.9 millimeters. Then it comes down to about 2.8. It kind of pretty much holds that. And you can see it comes all the way to the corner here of that reverse sword tip. And we don't lose much until we hit the grind. So this is not a skinny mini tip here, although it does get thin at the very edge. So this is a good performing knife. It's going to wedge a little bit more than something with a more generous grind and a higher grind on it through harder stuff, but it does quite well through general product. It's got a very confident stiff feel on the board. It gets nice and thin at the edge. Product separation and food release are very, very good, as you might guess with this style of blade. So, yeah, there's compromises no matter how you go about a knife design and a grind. And so this is going to lean towards the stiffer, more, I guess, food separation, food release, confidence-inspiring type feel versus a pure, super high-end laser type performer. But it's a really nice blade. I'm kind of into Bunka knives lately, and I've got, I don't know, four of them, and this one's pretty tempting, despite the fact that I already have some. It's just different from the stuff I have. So the height is generous. It's 54.5 at the back millimeters, so it's quite tall as well, which is kind of unique to it. So it's got a very tall shape. Loads of clearance. The handles are beautiful. They are key octagonal ebony with a laurel wood ferrule, and the fit and finish is very, very nicely done on these. They've got a rounded butt end or end cap to them. Really tight install on the handle where it meets the tang, and just great fit and finish. So these are just super nice. It elevates this knife quite a bit. The circumference is a bit larger than some of these key handles on a lot of other knives we've seen, and this one's about 75, 76 millimeters or 3 inches where the two woods meet. So it's got some substantial feel. You've got a fairly wide neck that flows nicely into that size handle, and a great spot for your finger for a pinch grip. The balance point here is the handle, ebony's pretty heavy, so it's a dense wood, so your balance point's going to be back here. So it's definitely a little bit behind a pinch grip. So it's going to be a little bit more of kind of a western-ish sort of feel, maybe a little bit, in terms of just balance point, but it's still just a nice package. So it's got a little bit of weight to the knife as a whole. Let's see, let's get a close-up look at it. So these are very well crafted. I've used this one a little bit, so it's got a little patina going on that exposed reactive steel. So there's our beauty shot. You've got hand-chiseled kanji on the right side of the blade, and you can see this hammered Tsuchime finish on it. You've got a little bit of rounding and sanding to make it a real nice consistent finish on the spine. Very well done. Nice fit and finish, and a little bit of relief on the choil into the neck, so it's very comfortable. Good solid 6 out of 10 out of the box edge. It's very straight, very clean grinds. As I mentioned on the other video for the Nakiri, I've handled a number of Hinoura knives, and all of them have been very, very well made and extremely well crafted. High level fit and finish, very straight, clean grinds. They just do a really good job. Here's the profile. This is not particularly flat overall, but it's got a very low tip on it, so you're not going to rock this much without digging the tip in. But you can see it's kind of a curvy profile, not a lot of flat. If you look at the Nakiri video, I just shot that one. That's like a pool table flat. This is quite a bit different. So it's kind of a unique knife. It's very tall, just kind of a gentle curve, but seesaw. But it's super smooth though. You can seesaw back and forth very, very comfortably. Again, the fit and finish and the craftsmanship is great all around, everywhere on this thing. So this is an intriguing Bunka offering. This is the Hinoura Tamashii Shidogami No. 2 Tsuchime or hammered Bunka 180mm knife.